Enough with the lies about Florida's overdose crisis. 64 suspects were arrested in Citrus County, Florida, with enough fent to kill over 100,000 people. And of course, what does the Citrus County Sheriff do? They blame it on the border. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you the truth whether you want to hear it or not. The problem isn't the origin of where these are coming from. The problem is the destination. Stop blaming Mexico for the fact that your community is full of crackheads and junkies. Every single time there's a large seizure in Florida, whether it's in Citrus County, Polk County, Lee County, what do they always do? It's coming across the border. The problem isn't border. The problem is that your community is full of freaking crackheads. 8 times more people are dying from overdoses in Citrus County than they are in Miami. I don't see the people in Miami blaming the border. Have you even been to the border? Because I've been from the border from Texas all the way to California. I've driven the whole length of the U.S. border. Let me tell you something. The amount of security that there is in the border, particularly in Texas on the Florida side, you can be 100 miles from the border and there's still checkpoints and police cars and federal police and county police and all types of police for hundreds of miles along the border. I'm tired of hearing stupid people repeat stupid things that they get from stupid sources. The same thing comes with people that come into Florida illegally. They're coming from the southern border. Shut your stupid mouth. No, they're not. Every single Guatemalan that I've ever asked, how did you get in the United States after becoming their friend? You know what they tell me? They flew on an airplane to Canada and they came in through the northern border, not the southern border. But you don't know that because you're just repeating everything you heard on Fox News or CNN. All these counties in Florida keep putting all the blame on their homegrown problem on the border, as if it was the border's fault that your community is full of crackheads. Let me tell you, it could come from Canada, it could come from Mexico, it could come from the Caribbean. It doesn't matter where it comes from. The destination will always be the same because the problem originates not in the border, but in your community. But instead of making laws to help the communities that need it the most in Florida, the state of Florida is making laws to ensure that lawyers aren't able to advertise anything malignant about pharmaceutical companies. The state of Texas is right on the border with Mexico, and they have one of the lowest overdose death rates in the country at 16 per 100,000. Now the state of Florida has more than twice that rate with 37 per 100,000. Hey, look at the state of Maine. They are far from the border with Mexico. They're all the way up to 47 per 100,000. You know why? Because they like to consume illegal substances. Has nothing to do with proximity to the border. What's sad is that all these people that are going on the internet and saying stuff like, it's coming from the border, we need to do something about the border, it's destroying our communities. They know very well, because they have access to analytics and information just like I do, that the problem doesn't originate in Mexico. The problem originates in their communities because there's other countries, other states, and other parts of the state of Florida that aren't having these problems. I am sick and tired of hearing these people, every time they do a press conference, blaming the problem on wide open borders. It is incredible the amount of security that they have on the border. The state of West Virginia is over 90 per 100,000 as the latest results from the CDC. That is 5.6 times higher than the state of Texas. Europe is halfway around the world, and the vast majority of the influx of illegal substances in Europe is coming in through massive container ships. We're a whole lot closer to the source of a lot of these substances than Europe. There was recently a bust in Louisville, Kentucky at the international airport there, which is one of the largest international airports in the entire world. And they were actually shipping this stuff backwards from markets that were more expensive and the markets that were cheaper to bypass security procedures. Because when the entry port authority sees the country of source being a country that has higher drug values, they completely ignore that country and search containers coming the other direction. Who the crap really knows from where this stuff is really coming from? How do we know it's not being produced here in the United States in a massive site that we don't even know about? We really don't know. It's illegal. They're hiding it, they're covering up. We don't really know where this crap is coming from, but we do know where it's going to end up. Hey, North Central Florida, West Virginia, Maine. The crap out of here blaming where it's coming from. We don't know where the crap is coming from. We do know where it's going to end up. It's going to end up in that little trailer park down there in Citrus County, ain't it? It's always the people who have the worst problem who want to blame it on somebody else. Stop blaming Mexico. Stop blaming the border. The problem doesn't originate in Mexico. It originates in that trailer park in Citrus County. You're the origin. The origin is the consumption. You got it backwards. Oh no, the sheriff? Oh no, it's not my problem. It's them over there. My audience who watches my videos on the regular, are you really buying these stories? Do you really believe that the problem originates from where it's coming from? Or do you think it originates in the communities that no matter what are going to do whatever it takes to have their substances? On the way to Citrus County, assuming these things came from the border, they passed rural communities, predominantly African American areas, right outside of Tallahassee, rural poor communities. Why couldn't they dump off their cargo there? Because those communities don't consume that product. Community that consumes that product is Marion County, Citrus County, Hernando County, woo, Pinellas County, woo, baby. If anybody's driven through Texas, it's a massively long state. Assuming these things came from Mexico, they had to drive for an entire day through Texas. None of those little rural communities in Texas wanted that stuff. Who wanted that stuff? They made it get all the way to West Virginia, all the way to Maine, all the way to beautiful Citrus County, Florida, because that is where the customer needed it. They couldn't dump it off in little towns in Texas because those communities wouldn't want to touch that stuff. The state of Louisiana has some of the highest overdose rates. They have ports. The state of Florida has a lot of overdoses. They have ports. If you keep going along in the Northeast, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Connecticut, Maine, a lot would indicate to me that the eastern seaboard is really the source of where this stuff is coming from. Simply by looking at most of the overdose rates, it seems like it's port cities on the eastern seaboard that have the highest overdose rates. Now, if you backtrack a little bit, okay, maybe 10, 20 years ago, and you start to see from where these epicenters spread from, it really didn't spread from the border heading north. It spread from port cities heading inland. But I'll tell you, like Dave Chappelle told that one customer, that's just my own personal. I'm not really. That's just my own. That's just my own thing. That's just the way I see it. People today just blindly believe whatever they're told, and they don't sit down and study what exactly is happening, and they don't travel to see these places and understand how things work. Every country in the world, even countries like Iceland, Finland, Norway, places that are far out and isolated, nothing comes in on foot, people. Everything throughout the whole entire world moves in container ships. Remember that container ship? Even some years back, it was reported that the vast majority of everything entering the United States, about 85%, was now coming in through Trinidad, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, or some other region in the Caribbean. Then all of a sudden, the narrative changed and it became about Mexico. To send more personnel, more security to the border is equivalent to trying to put more oil in your engine to make it work better. There's only so much you can do, and then anything more than that is overkill. And frankly, it wouldn't be up to the people here in Citrus County to know there's a problem in the border. It would be up to the people at the border to know if there's a problem there. You guys remember a while back, we were in El Paso, Texas, and Fox News had a news report. There's thousands of people ready to cross the border in El Paso. There's homeless people all over El Paso, Texas. You can go on my channel, and you can see the video that I uploaded during that same week where we drove around El Paso trying to find where these people were, and we couldn't find nothing. You know why we couldn't find anything? Because it was all a lie. It didn't exist. El Paso, Texas is covered with crime and illegals and homeless people everywhere. Have you been to El Paso? No, I ain't been there. I just saw on Fox News. I went to El Paso. We drove around. We couldn't find any of that. Then I ran into a U.S. Customs and Border Patrol spokesperson that was there on the other side of the entrance in the El Paso border. And I asked him, how many people are on the other side? You know what he told me? But it doesn't matter what he told me because my video only got 2,000 views because it wasn't sensational. Today, the truth doesn't matter. What matters is sensationalism. And if you say, hey, this is a lie, here's the truth, you know what people tell you? Oh, no, I listen to Fox News. Enough with the lies. These people in law enforcement are lying to our communities every single day when they step in front of the microphone to prolong their personal political agendas, leaving the people completely lost as to why we're really having these problems. I do real journalism. I went all the way to El Paso, Texas. I stood in front of the U.S. Customs spokesperson, and here's what he told me. I don't know what you saw on Fox News. I don't know what you heard on the radio, but I know what I saw and what I heard because I was there in El Paso when all this was happening. And the fact that I exposed the truth did nothing because people don't want to believe the truth. They want to believe what they're being told. I'm an independent YouTuber.
Okay, so...
And this is recording, by the way.
People, but they're lined up on the other side.
On the other side.
For the west side.
Okay. So the state of Texas is not just going to... There's going to be a response to that, most likely. They're not just going to let that happen.
I mean, we have Border Patrol and CBP agents. Yeah. And actually, right there, they're being transported for processing to that Border Patrol station right there.
Okay. But once Title 42 expires, they'll be able to just come and, like, they won't be able to get sent back?
No. So we never lost our Title 8, which is the Immigration and Nationalities Act.
Yeah.
Title 42 allows us to rapidly classify and identify them and then expel them back to Mexico.
Yeah.
But that's only for Mexicans and Northern Triangle Central Americans. The other countries, we've still been processing under Title 8.
You still got Cubans, Haitians, Brazilians?
Well, Cubans, the current surge is Cubans. Right now, a lot of Nicaraguans and Venezuelans. The problem with those countries is the communist countries have failed. In a country we normally have a relationship with, Haiti or anybody else, if they illegally come over and they don't have a legitimate claim for asylum, and it has to be very specific. It's like, I got this specific evidence of this threat from a drug cartel or a government official who's corrupt and my life's in jeopardy. And you can't be just saying, oh, we've got crime and we got problems, because welcome to Chicago. We have it in the United States too. So in that process, if they don't, they get deported back to their home countries, and you have what we call ICE being able to do their job. We'll have the deportation funds.
What's going to happen to
the problem with Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua is we don't have the relationships with those countries for them to accept their people back, and because of the collapse of the Bolivarian socialism and the Marxist regime in Venezuela,
they're not going to want it.
7 million people leave their country.
Yeah. So what's going to happen like Cubans? There's no structure in place to give them papers. They can't get deported, right, to Cuba, most of them. But they're not. There's no legal avenue either. So it's like an endless.
They have their asylum claims, and that's part of the problem.
So there's no real, like, if a Cuban comes over here, they can't get deported and they can't become legal.
You have to understand, there's in CBP, we're the first end of that. ICE and the immigration court system is the back end of that, and that's where you get into the political debate on: are you going to allow ICE to do their job and enforce the law, and are you going to allow them to deport and expel people who shouldn't be here and have no legal basis to remain under Title 8 of the United States Code, which is the Immigration Act?
Interesting. So eventually there's thousands of people, and they're just waiting for that act to be like a few days.
Well, and it also gets to, do they make an asylum claim or not? If they can make an asylum claim, and they can at least get an initial hearing for an immigration judge.
But it's not going. But it's not going anywhere for them.
Well, it depends on what the immigration judge decides.
And they haven't decided yet.
Well, I mean, that's a process. They've got a court docket and they line up and so they're here. They'll have a temporary parole status, and of course, if they don't show up at their immigration hearing, what a lot of people don't realize is if you don't show up, then you get a deportation order in absentia, and if a law enforcement officer encounters you anywhere out in the country, or ICE can then deport you immediately.
Awesome. What a mess.
So that's the shortest, most compact spiel I've ever gave on immigration law, and I'm actually the press spokesman here for all.
Awesome. You really are.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
UK Daily
I'm from Florida. I drove all the way from Florida.
Oh, really?
And I see El Paso is a beautiful city, low crime. It's not this.
Yeah, we're the third safest city in America. We have this great relationship between the federal, state, and local law enforcement because we understand that's the second most dangerous city in the world.
In the world,
and
yeah.
That's the over there. And because everybody understands the threat, everybody bands together. Like, even handle this immigration problem that we have in these large numbers. One reason why we can handle them a little bit better here in El Paso, despite the very, very high numbers, is like the county judge, the county help out, the local non-governmental organizations, and we all coordinate and band together. So we're making the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, everybody wants the best for. I mean, everybody wants the best for everything, but man, complex problems. Complex. Thank you for your time.
All right, take care.
Really appreciate it. So as you can see, they're doing a great job at the border. El Paso is the safest city in the United States, and Texas has some of the lowest drug overdoses in the country, despite being a massive state on the border. So it's not fair for the state of Florida to start pointing fingers at Texas when they have lower murder rates, lower crime rates, lower overdose rates. They're doing everything they can, and they're doing a great job for their state. And it's not fair for the state of Florida to point a finger back at them and put all the blame on the U.S.-Mexican border in Texas, when in reality, it's your community that's having the problem. And look at the city of Miami. They have similar crime rates to El Paso. Very safe city, despite being large. Miami doesn't have these problems. What that agent representing the U.S. government told me on the ground during my journalism was that, hey, we're doing a great job here. We have great cooperation. We're all working together. And look at how safe our city is. If other cities further down have a problem, has nothing to do with what we're doing here. Has more to do with whatever they got going on in their home state. And off camera, he explained to me that right behind us, behind that bridge, is the country of Mexico, where about 1,500 people or something like that were lined up in single file line, walking into a building to be processed legally, to go through a court process. This isn't some mayhem like they put it out on the news. Both Tijuana and Ciudad Juarez are very large cities with very scary murder rates, the most dangerous cities in the world. And they also have huge homeless populations that are kind of stagnant there on the border, with neither desire to be part of the South or to be able to enter the United States legally. So yeah, there are huge homeless camps on those cities, and there's a lot of crime and murder, but that's almost expected on the southern end of borders in North America. Take the case of Detroit, where Detroit's the most dangerous city in the United States, but cross into Canada, and it's the safest city in Canada. The same problem we have in El Paso and in Ciudad Juarez is the same problem that we have in Detroit and Windsor, Ontario. So these are regional geographic things that happen. Detroit's the most dangerous city. It's the entrance to Canada. Ciudad Juarez is the most dangerous city because it's the entrance to the United States. It's not by chance that the most dangerous city in Mexico is on the U.S. border, and it's not by chance that the most dangerous city in the United States is on the Canada border. Alright guys, I hope this is a little bit more of a level-headed approach to understanding where the problem really originates. It's not in some other country, it's right in your community. And the spokesperson for the US government, he spit it how it is, you know? And it's really embarrassing how I was in El Paso and I saw what was really happening on the ground. I talked to the US officials that told me everything how it was. And then you turn on the TV and listen to the news, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is completely nothing to do with the reality on the ground. And as time passes, if you go back and try to find those older news articles, they actually delete those articles because they know that they don't want people to backtrack and make them look bad. Alright guys, there it is. Real numbers, real analytics, not lies. This is what's really happening on the ground. You know, they just want to pet their subscriber base there in Pasco County. Oh no, you guys are good people. You guys would never do anything bad. It's those people at the border. You guys are a good community here. Let me just pet you a little bit, Pasco County and Citrus County. Let me just pet you a little bit. Yeah, you like that, Pasco County? You like that, Citrus County? You like being wooed? Prepare to get wooed.